I'm have food poisoning this week. Tribute to some of the topics in this episode, which is going to run about 10 minutes long. It may be for me just a horrible stomach ache. I'm on my 4th day of recovery. About tournaments, and then we'll talk about cash games. I've had tremendous success in cash games this week. I mean, enormous. Several hundreds of dollars. Exploiting people's weaknesses, exploiting people's inability to understand why I'm check raising them, and inability to read the board. If there is a pair on the board, you need to be cautious, and a lot of players will not be cautious. In my case, I was able to capitalize huge by hitting trips on the board. For instance, I'd enter the hand with pocket fours, and up would flop a 4 on the board. That happened to me twice. It happened to me with 3s. Had another hand today which, was flopping a straight. Boom, I flopped a straight. And slow played it. Just acted like I had nothing. Hollywood too much, but it's just like nonchalant about them. And I'm going to pretend that I'm trying to get a king or an ace on the turn or river, or trying to hit a flush. So the 3 other players at the table are assuming that I'm trying to hit a flush or 2 pair or trips. Meanwhile, I already had a straight on the flop. I won $100 in that hand. Another hand was, I had king jack of diamonds. I raised at the button. The flop was ace 10 7, ace 10 of diamonds, and then 7. So if you're following me there, I had a royal flush straight draw on either the turn or the river. And my opponent like quadruple raised me at the turn. Big raise. And I didn't get it on the turn. And then he raised me big on the river. And like we say in gambling, sometimes it's all in or just don't even play. So I called his big bet, and then the river came. And was it a diamond, a queen of diamonds to give me the royal flush? No, but it was a queen of clubs to give me the ace-size straight. Much to my amusement and much to my profitability, that was a hugely profitable hand to about $125. I'm executing successfully on the cash game is loose playing about every 2nd or 3rd or 4th hand. Maybe like every 3rd hand. I'll just jump in the pot. Really, no matter what I have. Give or take some stupid cards. I'm not going in with 7-4 offsuit. I'm not going in with queen 2 offsuit. But I am going in with a king 8 suited. Obviously an ace 5 suited or ace 9 suited. In this case, I had a 6-4 of diamonds. Entered the pot and got a straight and won that hand. Pretty nice sized pot. Other successes during the cash games is getting back to what I said in episode 1. Intensely picking up on the betting patterns and folding patterns and calling and raising patterns of the other players. It was so easy to pick out today who the fishes were, who the less experienced were versus the more experienced. And more times than not, it seems to be very apparent the least experienced, the least polished players are the players older than me. And I'm 44 years old. So I'm talking guys in their 50s and 60s that they just do not have the chops to compete with the young guns. And I put myself in the young guns, but really I'm talking the 20 and 30-year-olds who are, they're firing on all cylinders. They come ready to play and implement their plan. And stick to their skills and be patient. Rarely do you see those guys bust out. But I do every now and then. I busted out a guy today who's like that, thinks he's the shit, got his sunglasses on and his hoodie and all that stuff, headphones. I don't do any of that. Sometimes I'll throw up the hoodie because my neck gets cold, but usually not. My eyes are glued watching everybody play. I'm looking at people's facial reactions upon the flop. I'd say 85-90% of people, when the flop comes, they are looking at the flop. They're not looking at me. Meanwhile, I'm looking at them. I'm not looking at the flop. I want to see what kind of reaction do they have. Do their eyes bulge out? Do they lean forward? Or do they have no reaction? Or do they quickly check their cards? All these type of things are things you can learn and practice and use to your advantage in any given hand. A couple more examples of what happened today. And again, I'm talking about cash games. At one point, I was playing with my chips, figuring out what I was going to raise with. And I noticed that the guy who was up next to either call my raise or was already starting to put his chips in. So I'm like, okay, he's already looking to re-raise my raise. So you know what I did? I folded. Because he's already telling me what he's going to do before I did it. That saved me 20 bucks because he was already showing me that he's going to bet 40. So people will do stupid things at the table when they don't wait their turn. And it costs them money and it can save you money. So pay attention to that shit. Pay attention to whether the person to the left of you following you already looks like they're going to fold or if they're already looking like they're going to bet. Take into account everything at the table, the position of the button, and how many players have to come behind you after you bet or raise or check or fold. Do well in the tournaments today, and I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I was so tired, didn't have the patience. When you don't have the patience in tournament, you're doomed. So I started playing way too loose. At one point, I lost, my ace-king lost to a pair of jacks. All in. I didn't need to do that. I could have been patient. Then I had another one, ace-queen, that lost to king-king, where I called his all in. I didn't need to do that. So those are both two instances where should have been more patient. No need to fire and fire and fire. But I will say this. Those were nearly coin flips where I was at 45%. They were at 55%. So even if I did win those hands, who knows? I just needed an ace on that one hand against the king-king. Today, I went all in with jacks kind of in the early stages of the tournament, which is dumb. The guy raised me, so I just shoved. He had queens, so he beat me. That was another dumb play. When I say dumb, I mean just not patient. When you still have 20, 30 blinds, what's the point of shoving? What's the point? Just continue to call the raise. See what you can get on the flop. See if you can get trips. But, in the end, sometimes when you shove, you could really double up and it can really work to your advantage. This has been episode 2. Please subscribe. Please like if you enjoy these videos, if you're learning anything. This is Kimok7, Poker Strategy, signing out. Implement the stuff I'm teaching you and you're going to win. Good night.